Hey everyone, Peter Skov for Music is a Journey. You getting tired of seeing me yet? Seems like I've been popping out a lot of videos like every 2 days recently. Well, today I have nothing in particular to show because today's topic is albums that I used to have. These are albums I bought on CD, well, anyway, back in the 90s or 2000s even, and I don't have them anymore. Reason being, of course, just simply I didn't listen to them so much. There might have been one or two songs that I liked, and after a while I just thought I really don't need to keep this taking up space in my collection. And I went off to Disc Union with a whole stack of CDs and sent them away. This video, I'm not going to talk about everything I've gotten rid of because honestly, I don't remember everything I've gotten rid of, and a lot of stuff is kind of related, so if I talk about one thing, maybe I don't need to talk about the other one. I actually do keep all the lists I get from Disc Union. All the times, well, twice anyway, 2 or 3 times, I brought stuff there. I keep all the lists because every once in a while I'll think, hey, there's an album I haven't listened to for a long time, let me play it. And then I can't find it, and then I consult the list and find out that I don't have it anymore. So I'm just going to go over a list of 12 albums and just mention a few words about each of them. So first one is an album by a band called The Stills. The reason why I got them is because I went to see Sloan live in Halifax back in 2005, and they had two bands opening for them, and the second band opening was The Stills, and they were a really exciting act. I remember the guitarist standing on the bass drum and jumping off in the air. I thought they were really cool. They had one or two songs that sounded really good to me, so soon after that I bought one of their albums. And it was okay. I think there was a song or two that I thought was pretty decent, but the album just really didn't get to me. I think the live performance was far more impressive, so perhaps I bought the wrong album, or perhaps, I don't know, they were just that much more exciting live. So the Stills, yeah, I don't have their album anymore. Next up was Live, this band here. Sorry, I've forgotten the name, but here's the album cover. They had a song called Lakini's Juice. I remember that. And again, like in the 1990s, I was off of the heavy metal scene, but I still liked hard and heavy music. And I remember seeing the video for Lakini's Juice. It was like all these couples, well, they were wearing underwear, but it looked like they were, getting really hot together. And there were judges recording a score of, their performance, whatever. But yeah, I remember the song sounded really cool. It had this really cool guitar sound, and I can kind of remember it. And I bought the album based on that song, and there were probably one or two songs that I really liked, but once more, the rest of the album really didn't thrill me. And who knows, maybe maybe listening to it now, I might have a different opinion. I think, as I said before, the 90s was just an exploratory period for me. I was just kind of grabbing an album of these guys and grabbing an album of those guys and just trying to find some place to call home. Some place for my musical taste to be at home in the 90s. And I think it ended up being that my musical taste was at home by having lots of different albums, one or two from each band, rather than getting into a couple of bands like I was in the 80s, where I would be on AC/DC for a while and then go on to Judas Priest for a while and then go on to Iron Maiden for a while. Yeah, it was just like this guy, those guys, these guys, those guys. So anyway, Live, and then Seventh Angel. So Seventh Angel, and there were a few others too, but this was during the early 90s in my Christian period, and I was still into metal at the time, so most of the Christian bands I bought were metal bands, glam metal bands, traditional metal bands, thrash metal, even like early death metal style. And this one here, Seventh Angel, this was a really heavy album. It was probably the second heaviest of all the albums I had. I forget the name of the other band now, but I remember they had a song called Burn, Satan Burn, and Scott Waters at No Life Till Metal, he mentions them from time to time, and when he does, I'm like, that's the other band, yeah. But I remember I thought they had some really cool riffs and some good songs, but once I got out of my Christian phase, I thought I don't really need to keep most of these albums. And so I carried them around for a while, and finally I think I sent a bunch of them off before coming to Japan, only keeping the ones that I really, really liked, which I talked about in a video a year or two back. But yeah, I got rid of it. And then I forgot that. And then it was like 2-3 years ago, I was listening to, I think it's Grave, one of the Swedish death metal bands. And I thought, you know, their bass sound reminds me of Seventh Angel. Let me listen to Seventh Angel. I haven't listened to them in a while. And of course, not in my iTunes library. Well, where are they then? Couldn't find them. Checked the list of Disc Union. Seventh Angel were gone. And I got 500 yen for it, which is actually pretty good. That's a good amount. So I thought, well, what if I were to buy it again? And then I looked at it on Amazon and it was not available, and somebody in the marketplace is selling it for 7,000 yen, which, whoa! So, okay, that's why I got 500 yen for it. The album was actually worth something. But later on, Scott Waters at No Life Till Metal said that Seventh Angel's albums were being re-released, and I suppose I probably could have picked it up if I really wanted. But that was okay, that was okay. But I remember they had a couple of really cool songs that I liked on that. So another band, Weezer, and this whole idea kind of was floating around for a bit, but I decided to do a video because a week or so ago, Chris Profrey at Chris Profrey's Musically Obsessed did a short thing about Weezer's second album, I think it was, Pinkerton. So I had the first two Weezer albums. I remember getting the first one. I really liked it for the song Jonas, and of course the Buddy Holly song, and there was one other song on there too that I thought was pretty cool. Again, that 90s heavy sounding, heavy alternative rock or whatever you want to call it. It was good. I liked it. And then the second album came out, and I just remember one song about being bored of sex, and that's the only thing I remember from that album. And in the end, I just thought, well, okay, maybe I don't really need to keep these, and so they just went on their way. And I guess I kind of regret now giving up the first one. It's like with a lot of these 90s albums that I haven't listened to for 20 years. Probably listening to it now, I'd have a different opinion, or at least maybe those two songs would be good to hear again. So anyway, I don't have any Weezer. Blue Rodeo, you can see Casino back here, which I got just last week, and this one here I picked up for about 300 yen. This is the Days in Between. I liked the first two Blue Rodeo albums, and then I bought Tremolo. I thought, well, I like the first two, let me get Tremolo. And I just remember there was nothing on there that grabbed my attention. I just felt it was just one long, mellow album. And this time I was smart enough to copy it into my iTunes library before getting rid of it. And now recently I've taken an interest in Blue Rodeo for their older material. First two albums. Third one is Casino. Fourth one, I've got it on order. Fifth one is where I feel they started getting mellow. But I heard that the sixth album actually was more of a rock album. So yeah, now I'm kind of curious about those early first several Blue Rodeo albums. But Tremolo, I do not have the disc anymore. And I've got it on my iPhone now because it's in my iTunes library. So I can listen to it and see, do I regret getting rid of it or am I okay? It's not like I'm like a totally wild Blue Rodeo fan, but the songs of theirs that I like, I really like. So another one is The Temper Trap. This is a band out of Australia. Indie rock, indie pop, I think they're listed on Wikipedia. So this goes back to probably 2009, 2010, and an acquaintance of mine, internet acquaintance, she mentioned them to me. She said, oh, I'm really into this band right now, and I think maybe you might like them. You should check out this video for the song, what is it, Sweet Disposition, I think it was called. And I listened to it and thought, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I like that song. Really high vocals, but yeah, okay, that's cool. I don't have anything like that in my collection. So I bought the CD, and I think that was the only song I liked off of it. But once again, I do actually have it in my iTunes library, even though I don't have the actual disc anymore. So The Temper Trap. Okay, and then during the, I guess, mid-90s, I was going through an industrial phase. I liked what I heard from Nine Inch Nails, and so I tried to pick up some other stuff. So that included Fear Factory, an album called, well, this one here. Is it Deconstructed? That one, anyway. I got that one. and a band called 16 Volt. I hope I have the album cover here. I have to look to see if I can find it. And then there was a band called the Rorschach Test. And I remember my friend often chatted with this guy who worked at the local record store. And so we went in together one day and he said, "Oh, you guys, you gotta hear this new album." And he put the CD in on the stereo there. And I remember that heavy guitar riff at the beginning of that song. When I heard that, I just felt like, wow, I'm just like sinking into the floor. This is fantastic. And the song came on, and I was told that the guy told us that the singer, or he used to be a preacher, anyway, a priest, whatever, in a church, and he quit the church and was, I don't know, talking about how fake it all is or something like that. Anyway, and the first track was called Satan, but I think there was actually a positive message in the song. Anyway, I remember I loved that song, that sound, that was just fantastic, so I bought the album. And once again, I think there was one other song that I kind of liked, and the rest I just felt were, So at some point, I just got rid of a bunch of those albums. I didn't find anything like 16 Volt. Yeah, they also had a couple of songs that sounded really cool, and then a lot of them I just couldn't get into. So same thing again, right? There's like 1-2 songs that are really great, and the rest of the album doesn't really get to me, you know? So, yeah, all three of them, Fear Factory, 16 Volt, and Rorschach Test, all went off to Disc Union or wherever it was I sent them. We come to Sarah McLachlan. Now, actually, I have Sarah McLachlan's second, third, fourth, and fifth album. I do like a lot of her songs. I bought the debut album. I remember there was a song on there called Vox, which was popular on the radio, which was okay. And there was a song on there called Ben, which was a piano ballad, which was also not that bad. But the rest of the album just didn't really appeal to me. And I think they were trying to make her come out as in a more of a pop direction, alternative pop maybe. And with her second album, Solace, it just was like singer-songwriter, woman with a guitar, acoustic guitar type of thing, and it just was like so different, and I just liked that much better. And the albums that came after that, I liked them much better. So finally I thought, I really don't need to keep her debut, and whoosh, away it went. Shania Twain, I actually had Come On Over, because I mean, there was 4 or 5 songs that were on the radio all the time, and I thought it actually sounds pretty cool. Yeah, and I think I had a friend who really liked it, and I heard some songs from her, so I thought, okay, and I bought the album, and actually I thought it was a really good album. I mean, I'm not into country rock so much, Blue Rodeo, but I thought it actually sounded pretty good. There were some really good songs. I remember one, When, I really liked the chorus to that, and some songs were really fun, and of course, she's a great singer, she's a great songwriter, she's got a bit of sass, I really like that. And my friend wanted to see her in concert and wanted me to go along, so I went along to see Shania Twain in concert, which was actually really cool. It was a really fun concert, and we were only like 5 rows from the the little catwalk arm that comes out there. So my friend actually ran up to get her hand touched, and she gave me her camera and said, "Take a picture." So, all right, there we go. Shania Twain's touching my friend's hand, and I took a picture for her. Yeah. Anyway, Shania Twain. But after a while, I just thought, I'm not really all that excited about country music, country rock music, and Blue Rodeo. So yeah, I eventually thought, I really am not going to listen to it again. I got rid of it. And then the funny thing is that when I really got into Lee Aaron's newer stuff, for some reason, after listening to it, when I was just getting into it, before I got the CDs, next morning I would wake up with Shania Twain in my head. For some reason, I could not remember the Lee Aaron songs very well, but the Shania Twain songs kept popping back into my head. But yeah, I don't have it. Okay, and one more that I'm going to mention, Joni Mitchell's album, Blue. Yes, I thought Joni Mitchell, famous Canadian artist, I really should get one of her albums. What is the most famous one? It's Blue. Let me get that one. And I kind of had this impression she might be a little bit like Sarah McLachlan, because they both do that like really high singing where they'll suddenly jump up like half an octave or more. And I remember, yeah, okay, there's a couple of songs that are not bad, and then after a while I thought, it's not really an album I'm going to listen to unless I tell myself, you gotta listen to Joni Mitchell today, that's your assignment. So in the end, I don't have Joni Mitchell's Blue either, and it gets mentioned from time to time on, you know, people's videos in the vinyl community, and I think, maybe I'm okay. So yeah, anyway, those are 12 of the many albums that I no longer have. There's a lot of Christian ones I don't have. It's probably there were a lot of cassettes in the 80s that I sold off, because when I decided I was going to be Christian, I thought I probably shouldn't be listening to these, and I sold them off, and I haven't bought all of them yet on CD. But yeah, so, you know, I wonder now if it was really such a smart idea, because I really hesitate these days when I put together a bunch of stuff and think, I really don't think I'm going to listen to these anymore. I should just get rid of them. And then I think, but what if 5 years later I really want to listen to that album? So I don't know. How about you folks? You got rid of stuff? Was there albums that you got rid of and later on you thought, I probably shouldn't have done that? Or do you have albums now? I think Steve over at All the World's a Stage said so. He's like, why do I have this? I don't need it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my topic for today with nothing to show. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.